Should be live, maybe, hopefully. Hopefully audio is working. If audio is not working, then obviously let me know. Just gonna set up some stuff and we'll be ready to go. Oh, let's see. Oh, there's the chat window. And I got it up here too. You know. That's probably gonna make me. It's gonna make me log in again. Yeah, make me play 20 questions in CAPTCHA to log in here every time. I guess in some ways I appreciate the security. No? Why does it even pretend to remember my credentials if it's not going to? You know? Oh, man. No? Oh, that's a typo. Yeah? Crosswalks. What's a crosswalk? There's all the crosswalks. There's another one. I hate how it just fills in the same square like 20 times. And that photo's all washed out. I don't even know if it's a crosswalk. I guess it won't let me continue. Oh, there's one there and there. I guess it was a photo that was completely blown out. It's like, is there a crosswalk there? I don't know. There's a vehicle, maybe. Is it happy now? Am I good? Am I human? No, apparently not. Now I gotta do motorcycles. There, are we good? Am I human now? Oh yeah, 2-factor. Why don't they just do the 2-factor? It's killing me. Where is it? You know how many 2-factor password things I have now? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Yeah? Uh-oh. Was it too... Oh, it was too late. Am I good? Okay. I mean, I can still see chat up here, but I prefer to see it right where I'm looking with everything, because it's just kind of convenient. Okay. Alright. What else? We still need to verify that I'm actually live on all these places. Am I on Twitch? I'm live on Twitch. Unstable? Why is it unstable? Can't stay for long today. My grandma was involved in an accident. Oh my god. Oh, I hope she's alright. Jesus. Yeah, you can always check the VODs on YouTube. For sure. Yeah, man, don't stick around here if you can't. Jeez. Okay, we're definitely on Twitch. I don't know if Twitch saves the VODs anymore. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Let's see. Let's do it. Let's check it real time. They get kind of weird with that. Oh, there's me. I'm hearing myself. Oh wait, I should put music on. I forgot about the music. There's music. Hey. Let's see. Does Twitch save the VODs? Where would I even go to check that? Oh, is it because I'm live that I can't check it? Okay, I honestly don't know. Okay, I am live on YouTube. And I'm gonna work on the time motion today. Time motion? What? Like the time slowing? No, actually I'm pretty much done with that. I don't know if anything really meaningfully changed. I mean, I cleaned it up a little bit, but it's not like it's radically changed since last week, so I guess I'll go over it a little bit. And I was actually going to try to do a You know, I'm not even sure what you would call this. In Unity, when I made this system, it was called shared events. That's just what I named it. But normally in Unreal, you'd have to get a reference to whatever is using the event and then like hook into it, but you have to know where that object is and get a reference and all that. And that's kind of a pain. So I like to set up a system that can just anonymously subscribe things to events and call them and stuff. Oh, yes, I was supposed to check Facebook, I guess. If I click here, does it show me the Facebook? Well, it shows me to pay. Okay, yeah, I'm live there too. Alright. How do I get it? Can I just get links from here? How do I get links from here? Yeah. I have to put out like a tweet or something so that people know that I'm actually here. Live now, Twitch, and YouTube. Does it take me right to the thing? It doesn't, but that's fine. I can grab the link here. Copy the link, send it here. I don't know. I'll here a blurry. It's like a blurry screen cap of me in motion. There we go. The lowest effort humanly possible. Yeah, there we go. It's fine. It's whatever. I have long since stopped caring about metrics. Maybe I'm a little jaded in that regard, but there. That's good enough. I guess everybody. Oh wait, no, Game Jolt. Man, there's so many things to keep track of now. Now that like Twitter's dead, everything's awful. Like you've got to make 5 million social media like posts everywhere and accounts, and like nobody. It's a pain. I'm just so sick of keeping up with it, you know. Okay, is that it? Is that everything? Okay. All right, let's move that stuff to the side. Okay, I guess we're ready. We're ready and willing. Yeah. Okay. Also, sorry for being a little late. Oh, you're talking amongst yourselves. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Again, I hope your grandma's all right. That's terrible. I know how it feels to, you know, have like family medical emergencies and stuff. I guess most people do, but I feel like a lot of people don't take it seriously when it's someone else, which sucks because they really should. Okay. All right. So, oh yeah, I guess I should change it to where are we? PC cam? PC cam. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, anyway, sorry for being a little late. I was having biological issues, if you catch my drift. Of course, they always pop up at the wrong time, right? So, yeah, what did I really do since last time? I did finish up the time dilation system, the time control system, time hierarchy system, whatever you want to call it. So it does more than dilation. Okay, good, showing. So I can slow down time, and then everything can slow down, or I can choose certain things to slow down. So in this case, obviously everything is slowed down. And it basically just slows down all the calculations for everything. Oh, and I hooked up the animations to it. The animation solution is not quite what I want it to be yet, but it's good enough for now. What I really want is total control over updating the animations manually, but that is not the case of what's going on here. I'm really just informing all the animations that there's a time scale change, and I'll show you how that works in a second. But then I can also change excuse me. I can also change what gets scaled here. So Oh yeah, I made a couple variables for it, right? Yeah. So time slow 1 and 2. So I'm slowing action time, and that's everything. So in the time hierarchy, player time, enemy time, environment time, like conveyor belts, falling chandeliers. Obviously, Mega Man doesn't have chandeliers, but you think like Castlevania's got falling chandeliers or falling rocks or whatever. That's environment stuff. So I can change this to just enemy time and environment time. I've got 2 of them set up here, so I can do them. And what, they're 0.35? Yeah. So 35% normal speed. So here, boom, I activate it, and everything here is much slower now. The conveyor belt, the dropping, turn it off, now it's back to normal time. Turn it on, now it's slow. But again, Mega Man's not affected by this, and neither are the weapons. So I can slow down specific parts of the game simulation here, which is really helpful because there are a couple things in the game that do this, although it's usually not in Mega Man's favor. You've got there's an enemy called the Foolie. I think it's called the Foolie. It's spelled like it's called Foolie, like Foolie Cooley. And he comes in, and if you let him live long enough, he'll start to slow down time. I think it actually slows the entire game down, but I think it's really meant to at least slow Mega Man's time down, and so that is something that we have to account for, which this system will do. And then the other thing, I actually didn't know this. Let me pull up the actual graphics for this. There is one enemy that actually like time slows you if you get caught by its stinger, and I actually didn't realize that was a thing. Is it here? Yeah, this guy, he's in the Neptune stage. I didn't really realize this until I was reading the descriptions for the enemies. That apparently he's supposed to infect you with a virus or something that's supposed to slow you down. I'll be 100% honest, I always thought it was a glitch. I was like, wow, it's kind of weird. Sometimes when you get hit in this level, things slow down a little, and like Mega Man's face changes color for some reason. But it apparently is supposed to be a virus, I guess. So again, it's another effect where like the whole game slows down for some reason, but I have a feeling that the intent might have been only Mega Man is supposed to slow down to make it harder, because slowing the whole game down actually makes the game easier because everything's slowed down. So I think the intent was to just slow Mega Man down. But maybe they didn't have time to separate Mega Man's logic from the enemy logic, and therefore couldn't get Mega Man to slow without the enemies also slowing, or something. They either ran out of time, I don't know. But I'm planning to just make it so Mega Man time slow down, and then the other enemy characters won't slow down in that case. At least with these guys. With the Foolie, I'm not sure. I feel like it probably should be the same effect. But I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. But we're not going to get to that stage for quite a while. That's Saturn's stage. That's at least in the second set of 8. The second set of 4 stages for the 8 bosses. So I've got time to think about it. But I think Venus's stage might be, soon. We've already... I probably showed it, but we already did a little bit of a graphics test on that. Where was that now? It's like a really, really rough draft of what some of the stuff might look like. And that's part of our, game stages, Venus, here. I don't know, maybe I did show this, maybe I didn't. And it also shows the water effect. Oh yeah, and I don't think Tim made that. I think Tim found that sprite on the internet, so that's not ours. At least I don't think it is. So don't credit us for that one. I think that's one that he found. Because we did actually find some Mega Man 7 Star Droid sprites on the internet, and we kind of like looked at those to see what people did. But here you see he did some work on trying to interpret what some of these shapes and tiles might be. So you see some stuff here, waterfalls and all that stuff. And then I also use this to simulate a water layer. So this is actually using like additive blending to get the water effect here. And I ripped the graphics just straight out of Mega Man and Bass on the Super Nintendo. And we were studying what type of water effects were they doing. And like Mega Man X 1 through 3 and Mega Man 7 always use a transparent layer in a way that was like, see here we're using additive. Oh wait, hold on. No, this one's using additive. They were doing something that was more like this, where they would just make it semi-transparent. And it always darkened things. Oop, wrong layer. It always made things dark, which kind of sucked. And so Mega Man and Bass was a little different. Mega Man and Bass actually used additive blending, and it almost actually even sort of brightened up the water parts, but in a way that kind of looked like a hazy blue glow to it. And so we were experimenting with that because I did not like the way that just straight transparency would darken everything. Let's see, one of the concepts was charge break dash to be able to use in midair as an air dash. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, and I think what we're gonna do is make the air version of break dash, which does not exist at all in the original game. It would just do nothing if you tried to use it. We're gonna try to make that like a dive kick, so that like the functionality of getting more vertical distance off of a jump really falls under like Rush Jet and like Rush Coil and that kind of stuff. So I didn't want to make Break Dash just completely eliminate the use of those items. So I thought maybe if it did something completely different, you could do a similar functionality. So when you're on the ground, you rush forward like an elbow rush, and then when you hit something, I was thinking, well, maybe you could get knocked back, not take damage, but you damage the enemy, then you get knocked back a little bit to kind of reset you and get you away from that scenario where you might take contact damage. If you do a dive kick, you could have the dive kick come down and do the same thing. They could hit the enemy, and then you just do a little flip back and regain your air control, you know, during the flip, and then kind of land safely. But then that way it's not a straight air dash that kind of replaces other item functionality, but it's also still useful, and it's a completely unique part of the moveset. Nothing does a dive kick kind of move. And then I was thinking that just don't bother having to charge on it, so you can just use it freely whenever. I think that would be really neat. Let's see. Right, yeah, Pluto does use the break dash to get between walls. So it's almost like a reverse that, because he's always going diagonal when he does that. So the dive kick is like the same thing. It's a diagonal, but just down. And then I think that would be pretty useful, because if you had a diagonal up, well then, I mean, you could use Rush Coil to do the same thing. And if you wanted an air dash to get more horizontal movement, you've got Rush Coil or Rush Jet to do that. And even Rush Coil will do that as long as you have the head clearance to get over it. So I think it kind of fits into the moveset to have the drop kick in a way that's unique, and nothing else is that way, and it also doesn't replace anything else. That's the way that I wanted to handle it. But yeah, so this is just a little preview. So this is kind of part of... The stage will not look like this, just saying right now. The stage is not going to look like we're laying it out here, but this is like a first tests to be like, okay, here's the graphics that exist in the levels, right? Here's the original graphics. If we were just going to do a straight upgrade to 16-bit or whatever, what would it look like? And that's kind of part of the process that we take. And we're going to be redesigning the level from there. We'll say, okay, this is what objects in the level look like. This is something, I don't know, we'll interpret it into something. We got pipes, we've got these canister things, whatever they happen to be. So let's see, what would they look like if we just upgraded them straight to 16-bit? And then we take that as sort of an inspiration and say, okay, now that we got a vibe check on what everything in this stage kind of looks like, now we can redesign the stage and do more with it. So you could say, like, and Tim doesn't ever label his layers here, so I'm going to see if I can find the layer with the stuff on it. There it is. You could say, oh, okay, well, you know, you can start to make decisions like, hey, this could just be one big giant cylinder, maybe, you know. This doesn't have to be all that stuff. It could be, we could do this and then add like a lot more detail to this. You know, and other games in the series have done that. So I'll pull up, where is it? Maps. I can't read today. I can never read, but especially can't read today. So like you look at like Burstman, and you've got like the first room is just all like cylinder shapes. And then, well, actually kind of the whole first area is a lot of cylinder shapes. And then eventually you get here and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're going to use square shapes now. Square walls, square ceilings, you know, sometimes we'll have a cylinder here and there. But we sort of changed the vibe and the whole color set too. So this is all like orange and a little green, you know, and then here they're like, nah, this is going to be like dark blue, I guess, in the background. And then now everything's going to be purple with little accents of green. And then like down here, they're like, okay, well now we're gonna do silver and green, a little bit of accent of red, you know, and then we get here and then most of it's green now. And we're gonna do a little accents of blue, you know, here and there. And you've got the background here as well is green. So they go through sort of the process of changing the vibe of the level as you go through. And the originals don't do this at all, right? They're just completely the same thing the entire way. So we're trying to split up, hey, okay, maybe this room will be a bunch of cylinders, okay? We'll do lots of cylinders and stuff here or something. You know, this will be the cylinder room. Obviously, we're just not going to obviously copy and paste it like that, but you kind of get the idea. I mean, I can't show a real example until we go through the whole weeks of work to redesign everything. So just kind of use your imagination here and say, you know, okay, that's kind of like what we're going to do. We're going to just take all this as reference. What do the objects look like here? Are they mostly rounded? Are they square? A lot of stuff looks like it's supposed to be rounded, so we do that stuff. We've got, you know, what do these look like? Little grates, little grating on these blocks, so we're just going to add those details and stuff. And say, okay, this is a cylinder and grating room. Cool, we'll do the whole thing like grating, because there's waterfalls here. I'm pretty sure this is one of the rooms with waterfalls. So we could say, oh yeah, well, this is the cylinder and grating room, and we're gonna kind of like rebrand the room that way. And, you know, obviously add more detail and stuff, and kind of just reimagine everything, but just while still drawing from the original graphics as sort of like an inspiration, you know, stuff like that. And then, you know, then you'll get this kind of effect where it's like, oh yeah, do cylinders in this room, squares in this room. You can just kind of break things down into their basic shapes. And you'll see in Mega Man 7, a lot of the stages do that. Like Junkman is like, oh, it's orange and a little bit of green and blue. And then you get here, and then it's mostly blue. It's a big elevator section. Then we're back to the green, blue, and orange. If you come down here, well, now everything's like red. And look at the floors change. So a lot of the orange rooms, the floors are like these like girders, but then you get down here and now the 4 is like this cylinder with this plate on top, changing it up, you know, from area to area inside the level, or even here, like now this is all purple and there's this like bridge thing. It just gives a different vibe to each part of it, which again, the Game Boy games don't do this at all. And again, I mean, I'm not blaming them. It was a Game Boy. Like, what could they really do? You know, they did what they could, but we have the opportunity to you know, enhance that. So that's the idea, what we're trying to do. So right now it looks basic, like we're just taking the tiles and doing whatever. And admittedly, that's how we did Mercury's stage. We basically just copied what the Game Boy did and then 16-bitized it, but we're going back and reimagining it through that process that I just described. And we don't have a lot to show for that yet, so we're still kind of trying to figure out the process of how to make that happen. But as things do progress, we'll definitely have more to show. Let's see. What's chat saying? Electric Shock, you could be able to up attack to upwards and diagonal too. Maybe. I think Electric Shock does definitely have to change a little bit. One of the things that I'm going to do that the original did not is have special properties for the hits. So in the original, no matter what you hit the enemy with, it seems like they always were invulnerable for a certain amount of time. A specific amount of time, just globally. Anything that you hit them with, it was always like 1 second of invulnerability, whatever it was. It probably wasn't a whole second, but you know, it was consistent for every weapon. But I think something like Jupiter's weapon, where it's just an electric beam, you could make the argument that should just DPS, you know, over time. And I think that's what it does to normal enemies, because the normal enemies are invulnerable for way less amount of time. It's only like a few frames. So you could just like boom, 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 you know, would hit that fast. I think that the bosses may not be hit that fast, but if you do 1 point of damage, you know, every quarter second or, you know, like eighth of a second or something, then that might work out. At least, especially for the ones that are weak against it. And because right now it's a little weird. Sometimes the bosses don't react quite the same to it. Sometimes that they'll actually cause the attack to stop midway if it makes contact, and I don't think it should do that. I think it should just be, as long as you're holding it on them, you know, they're going to get hit by it, and it can just drain the life down really quickly. If they're weak to it, at least, you know. Some enemies won't, or, well, most enemies are probably vulnerable to it, but a lot of bosses are probably not vulnerable to it in its entirety anyway. I'd have to check the damage chart. So if the damage chart says they take 0 damage, then it's just not going to affect them at all. It'll just be a block or a reflect. Let's see. Yeah, Deep Digger, we talked about that a little bit. I'm thinking maybe you can just manifest blocks. If there's nothing to pick up, then maybe you can just manifest a small block. Like I made the example of, like, in Mario 2, the US version of Mario 2, where they pull the turnips up. Especially with Peach, like it looks like she has a lot of difficulty, and it takes a good, like, you know, half second to pull something up, and she's like, trying to pull it up. You could do something like that. So if there's a block there to pull up, you just whoop, you pick it up. But if there's none, then he has to sort of manifest the block to exist. So he can pull it up from the ground, but it'll take longer for him to do so. I think that would be interesting. Then at least you can kind of use it anywhere to a degree, and you don't have to rely on the blocks just being there. I think that would be nice. Yeah. Yeah, there's some time to think about the special weapons at least. Oh yeah, we found a manga panel of Venus's stage. And it says it's a very damp base. It's full of wastewater, bad smell. So we're kind of thinking that this might just be a water treatment plant. There's not a lot of information on this game as to, like, where these are. Some people think that this might be a sewer. But I don't know. says full of wastewater, bad smell. Which, I mean, it's got a little bit of stuff that looks like a kind of sewery. But I feel like if it's a facility, right? It's got doors and stuff. If it's a facility, then maybe it's a water treatment plant, something like that. So we're basically going that route, figuring out where we think this, what we think this facility is, where is it located. Then looking at the graphics that are there from the original game, trying to interpret what they might be, and then use that to guide the redesign of the level. And so right now for Mercury's stage, we're in the concept part of it. So I've got Koi working on the concept art for, okay, what is this place supposed to look like? And then we can say, okay, we like this. We're gonna put this kind of looking stuff in the first room or the first segment, and the next part can look like this, and then the next part looks like this. And then he can draw specific in-game looking graphics concept art, and then we can use that to kind of build the pixel art off of that. And so it's gonna be a process, especially for the first time that we do it. It's been something that we've been working on in the background, but we're really starting to move on that now. So it might be a few weeks yet before you start to see anything of that, that's good enough to show. But we're getting there, and then we'll do that, repeat that process for all the stages. Instead of doing what we did for the prototype, which was just take exactly the graphics from the Game Boy game and then basically redo the level just as it was. On Knowledge Base, Mega Man Knowledge Base, I don't know. I'm not sure. Tim found it. The Mega Man Knowledge Base seems to have some inaccurate information too. Where is it here? So we're kind of taking what's on there with a grain of salt, unfortunately. There's definitely some bad info on there that we've already noticed, or at least I've noticed personally. So yeah, I don't know. We're kind of just aggregating everything that we find, and if we find it on like a wiki or something, we try to track down what's the actual source, where did the information come from. And if it doesn't have a source, then we're just going to kind of assume it was made up, and we'll disregard it and go from there. So we're getting some help looking through like the Japanese material, and just kind of doing our research slow but sure. Oh yeah. I think Tim read the whole chapter, but this was the best image that we pulled as far as like for referencing, and that's why he put it in here with the file. But yeah, so there's some inconsistencies. I think a lot of the stuff like the mangas and the guidebooks, they may or may not have just made some of it up. So like Neptune's stage, for example, it said that it's a base with poison gas. And it's like, okay. I mean, I don't know why poison gas would affect Mega Man. That seems kind of strange to put in there, but that's what the description said. Oh, it's a base full of poison gas and, I don't know, traps or something. And it's like, I don't see how that makes any sense, but okay. But that was only one source. Another guidebook or manga might say something completely different. So we're kind of just taking the whole thing there and kind of making up our mind from there. So like, I think the Mercury stage in one of the mangas or something, I don't know if it was Rockman Sun or if it was the actual, Rockman World 5 manga, but they had something where it was just like, oh, it's just a facility of conveyor belts, and it's like, okay, I mean, I think there's more going on than just that. So we've really got to take everything that we can find and then kind of make up our own mind. So like Mercury's stage, our decision was that it's some kind of like recycle plant because, well, one, it's got trash, things like the Soshi breaker. Let me bring Mega Man into the second part of the stage here. So this thing, he takes a trash block and he like breaks it. It's like, okay, like, and that's actually in the, that's what he's doing here. He's taking some kind of block and he's breaking it up into little trash bits, you know. And then you've got GSQ here, which is shooting out trash blocks. But then their enemy descriptions are also things like, oh well, GSQ is like a managerial robot and stuff like that. And so like with all the descriptions and stuff in mind, you can kind of form an idea of like, okay, this is not just like a shipping facility. This seems like a recycle plant. Like they're breaking down, you know, metallic trash or something and recycling it. Maybe they're making new robots, or maybe they're just, you know, melting it down. Who knows? But that wasn't necessarily from the manga. So we kind of have to take everything that we find and sort of piece the puzzle together. And there may not be a real official answer to some of these. They may have just said, I don't know, just put tubes in this level and there you go, it's fine, whatever. And they may have never told anybody or wrote it down or whatever. At least outside of the dev team, you know what I mean? So we sometimes might have to take a creative liberty here and there when we interpret some of this stuff. Are you making a Mega Man game? Yes. We're remaking the Mega Man from Mega Man 5 on Game Boy, doing a remake of that. Just found a recommendation on YouTube. Hey, so the YouTube algorithm's doing its job. That's funny. Someone else mentioned that too a couple weeks ago, that it was actually a recommended thing for them, which is really cool because I don't think that's ever happened before with any of my stuff. Oh, went through the floor. Well, that happens sometimes. But yeah, I was showing off the time slow effect because we need that for some parts of the game. And then back to normal time. And that system's pretty much complete at this point. Get out of the pit there with debug. And then I have pausing. And all the animations, you know, at least the character animations pause. The level ones don't yet, but that's fine. We'll get there eventually. So, pausing works. We need a pause screen now, but, you know, all the animations and everything stop. I'll show how I did that too. It was pretty simple. Let's see. Under tick, yeah. So where was? Oh, you know what? I automated it. That's what it was. I automated it. So I made this. Where is it? Actor Sequence Manager, because we're using the actor sequencer for all the animations, and I play right from the time controller. So it goes in here. Let me get this over here. Here, when it ticks, it checks to see, are we telling it to take the play rate from the time controller, and that's the time controller is what dictates the time slowing and all that. And if we have an animation loaded and we have that set, then we go here, we get the time scale from the time controller and we set the play rate. And here it's just going to the actor sequencer that's currently playing and just set play rate to whatever it happens to be. Right now it just does it every tick. I don't know if there's a way to make that more efficient. There might not be. It might just be what it is. And the actor sequence manager just looks for a time controller when it's created. It just says, hey, do we have a time controller as a part of this actor? Cool. All right, let's do that. And yeah, that's what this is. It's just checking to see if a time controller does exist, and we tell it to use that as a way to control the animation. And that was it. That's all I had to do, and I just attached a time controller to everything that I wanted to slow down, and voila, it was pretty much, you know, it just kind of worked. I found this project for YouTube too, Larry. That's you. It's funny you say that while you're on Twitch. Very funny. Let's see. I'm making a game that kind of looks like Mega Man Mighty Number 9. Well, I will say I did like the character designs of Mighty Number 9, not so much the rest of it, but the character designs were kind of nice. It's not a Mega Man game, though. Okay. It's a Phodian game? I don't know what Phodian means. The game of getting over it with Bennett Foddy. I have no idea what that means. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what getting over it is. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, so that's just how I did that. So all the actor sequencers, unfortunately, you'd have to set them all individually. So I just kind of check which one is running at the current time. But the play rate, here it is, the 1x, you can change that to whatever. So if I need to stop it, I just set it to 0. And that's pretty much it. Because the get time scale will, well, it'll check to see if there's an actual source time controller inside the time controller component, and then if it does, it'll get the time scale. But there's a couple different states, so the time scale will get set to 0 if time is paused or if time is frozen. So it's pretty much automated. You just pull it. If it's 0, then well, it's just gonna stop the whole thing, and it is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much how that works. I don't like that because it's Unreal is the one that's actually updating the animations. I prefer to not let the animations automatically update and then to just tick them manually with a pre-calculated time step or something. However, I haven't figured out exactly how to do that properly yet, so eventually that will be the case. Because then we don't have to necessarily have Unreal checking all of them to see if they need to tick or not. We just tick the ones that we want and just don't even tick at all the ones that we don't want, and that should be more efficient, but who knows. And then we can also compare things before and after. And I think all the animation tick happens at the end of the frame automatically, and like we don't get to touch it or anything, so it's not ideal. I'd like to be able to tick it and know like maybe an event is going to fire when we do this, and we can sort of intercept it and do something special with it. There's a lot of reasons that you would want to have code control during that process, but we'll see. It's fine. I'm moving to Twitch. You hate YouTube live streams? Wait, I hate Twitch live streams, but I love YouTube live streams. Why? What's wrong with YouTube streams? YouTube's got the quality control. You got the rewind in real time. You can go back to the beginning. If you come in here an hour later, you can go back right from the beginning. And I guess chat would be confusing because they'd all be on real time. But I love YouTube streams. I like YouTube streams with Twitch chat. Fair enough. Shame both can't be condensed. Well, it's funny you say that. Because I don't know if it still works. It probably does. Yeah, you can actually see all the chat in the Discord channel. In my Discord channel, there's the live stream chat in the first category there. That actually shows you all of the chats coming in. And if you type in there, I'm pretty sure testing, I'm pretty sure it'll come through. Yeah, there, see? There's me. From Discord, testing. So I don't know. You see all that. I don't know. Probably not an ideal solution on mobile, but if you're on a desktop, you could look at that instead. You could see everybody. Yeah, I don't know. It's an option. It's neat. Sometimes, like if the chat window stops working or the chat disconnects, it's usually in the Discord server, and I can look at it there so that I don't miss anything if I remember that it's actually there. It's an option. It's cool. Yeah, it does. It actually works. And it's good because the service I'm using is called Restream. Unfortunately, it's not free. You do have to pay, and it's not very cheap. But it basically rebroadcasts the stream. I broadcast the Restream, and Restream broadcasts one to YouTube, and one to Twitch, and one to Facebook, and so on. And so that's how I multi-stream. But yeah. Okay, so Bennett Foddy is the dev for Getting Over It. The guy stuck in a pot that has the climb. Oh! Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the guy with the sledgehammer, and it's like a physics game. And he's got the sledgehammer, and then he's climbing up the mountain? Okay, yeah. Wait, how does that turn into a Mega Man game, though? How does... Alright, never... It's fine. That definitely sounds unique. We'll put it that way. Oh, the look? Oh, you just want the look of that game. Okay, gotcha. It definitely does sound unique. I'll give you that. Yeah, where were we? I feel lost now. I'm actually kind of like tired. But I'm still here. We talked about the enemies and how we came to the conclusion about the stage. What the stage theme should be. And then I was showing this. We're pretty much done with this. So I'm just gonna close that. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Okay. The main thing I wanted to work on today was shared events. And so this is a system that I made in Unity originally. And as far as I'm aware, I've looked at it and I've asked people that use Unreal, does Unreal have something like this already or what? And nobody seems to think that it already exists. So when you do an event in Unreal, you kind of need like a reference to something. So, well, you know what? Let me open up what I just closed. The actor sequence manager. So this is my little thing that keeps the animations organized and under control. When I play, when I play an animation, I want to know when that animation ends. So I have to check the sequence player and bind an event on finished. And then create the event and, you know, you listen in on it. So this is on the unfinished. Is it this one? No, that's the despawn one. Oh yeah, unfinished event to bind. So when it does finish, it's basically going to check to see have we already finished. Oh wait, is the only thing it does here is do this, that's funny, it just does this little printout. I guess I don't need that then. And then it ticks as has finished. Right, and then here, it calls the... Oh yeah, okay, this is just for logging. So this is all debug stuff, don't worry about this. This here, it will check to see if it's already finished. Or put a check mark that it's already finished so that it doesn't try to call this again later. And then it does a call on finished plane, which is an event inside the manager here that I created. And then other things will tap into that. I don't know if Mega Man does at all. Unfinished plane. There's a plus sign here, so I don't think so. Yeah. It created it. Otherwise, it would have showed me stuff that was attached to it. But you see, like, you need reference to these things. It needs to know where this stuff is. But that's kind of a pain, right? Oh, you use Unity? No, man, get off Unity. Get off Unity, because you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna be like next year. They're just gonna be like, hey, you know what? Hey, remember that time we changed the rules and screwed everybody? Yeah, we thought of a new way to screw everybody, and so we're just gonna change the rules again without asking you and without permission and all that. And so here's the new rules that are even worse than last time. Have fun with that. That's what's gonna happen. Guarantee it. You cannot once they pull that, once they've shown that they're completely fine with changing all the rules and screwing everyone over, it's only a matter of time until that happens again. And anybody who stays and sets themselves up for that, you know, after it's been done the first time, well, first time shame on them and second time shame on you. So I would get off of that. Using Unreal or Godot or whatever is not it's not easy to switch engines, trust me, because I just did it. But you really should seriously think about it. Yeah, I mean, they can fire the CEO, they can fire board members and all this stuff, but how can you ever be sure that it's not going to happen again? How are you sure that they're just not going to decide to do it again? They can say, oh, we learned our lesson, we did this and that, but they've already shown that they're perfectly fine with doing this, despite everybody telling them not to. And the community, they had community members that were on the inside and they're like, yeah, this is, oh boy, that's not going to go over well. You really shouldn't do that. And everybody's like, oh, well, you know, we're going to do it anyway. So, you know, hey, Ponton, what's up? Especially when half the board were behind the decision, not just the CEO. Yeah, and that's the thing. Not only are there still people there that were a part of that decision, you know, all of upper management is pretty much culpable for that. And you may never know who had input into what idea unless there's some like crazy giga leak that goes on at Unity. But even then, you could still have other people that weren't in charge at the time that agreed with that decision, and now they're in charge because some people left and they got bumped up and whatever. You will never be safe. Once they have pulled that trigger, you can never guarantee that they won't pull it again. So they've already literally shown you that they are very okay with taking that bullet and attempting to screw everyone over. They admitted that they knew it wasn't going to go over well. They knew people were going to be angry, and they did it anyway. So, okay. Maybe they don't think that it was that bad that they have to do that. You know, the CEO got off free. He wasn't really necessarily, like, fired in a bad way. He got his compensation package, he got his gold parachute, and he sailed away with millions and millions and millions of dollars. Where's the punishment? He even knew, they even had people on the inside that were like, yeah, in the meeting, Riccatello was like, yeah, we kind of knew that it wouldn't go over well. We just kind of figured they'd get used to it and whatever. And, well, that didn't happen. And then he's like, okay, well, whatever. I got my millions of dollars. I'm just going to retire, I guess. We're going to go to my private island or on my yacht or wherever the hell he is, just doing his rich asshole shit. He won. He got all the money. And now he doesn't even have to work anymore. It's just, that's it. You know, you're gonna trust that? No. Nah, get out. Because the next time it happens, you definitely not getting sympathy from me. I told you get out. You had all the warning signs in the universe to get out. Next time, it's definitely just on you. You give them way too much credit. Remember, business people are just like, most of them are just psychotic. They don't care. They don't care about threats. They don't care about backlash. They just really don't care. And if you need any proof of that, just go look at like the food industry, who has been caught like several times just basically negligently causing deaths all over the world, and they just don't care. They get called out all the time. They probably get threats or whatever. They get in trouble. They have some management changes, and it just keeps happening because they don't care. They will never care. So you have to just take care of you and try to guard yourself from that. Now, absolutely, could Unreal turn around next year and be like, you know what? I think it's our turn to screw everybody over. We're gonna completely screw everything and tank the reputation of our engine. Absolutely possible. But at that point, I don't know. You just roll your own. You're gonna make your own engine. You're gonna put $50 million into making your own Unreal Engine. That's not gonna happen. You have to use something, and at the very least, you avoid the ones that have proven that they are ready and willing to do that. And that's all you can say. You just gotta pick the least risky one. And right now, Unreal seems to be like the least risky one. And I don't know. Maybe they'll do something later. Maybe they won't. But they don't have a history of it, and you have to avoid the ones that do have the history of that. So yeah, just burn that bridge and don't go back. That's what I would do. Goodbye, Unity. Yeah. Well, the other thing too is, it's not just the fact that they betrayed everybody, but the fact that the engine is closed source. They betrayed everybody in ways that nobody knew that was going to happen, or how do I want to say? Well, here's a practical example. When all this happened, they're like, okay, so how are you guys tracking the users that install? And they're like, oh, well, we've got a method. Yeah, we got a proprietary method or whatever. So what that means is you can't look at it. You can't go into the engine code and say, oh, okay, this is exactly what they're doing. They're calling back to a private server, or they're calling back to the storefront that it came from, or whatever. You can't check that. You can't verify that. Guess what you can do in Unreal? You can look at all the damn source code. You can modify the source code, and you can compile your own source code to make 100 effing % sure that there's no shady shit in there. Or if you don't like what's in there, you take it out. Compile your own version. Oh, here's the non-spyware version of Unreal or whatever, assuming that it even has anything in there. If you're that unsure about it, you can look at it. Well, guess what you can't do with Unity? You can't look at it. You can't look at it. You can't compile your own. You can't check any of it. Whatever's in there is in there, and you'll probably never know about it unless you do some serious reverse engineering, which nobody's got the time for and nobody's got the patience for. So if you can't trust it, don't use it, because they admitted eventually, because people kept asking, well, how is this doing? Is it calling back to a private server? Is it doing this? Well, eventually the support team kind of slipped, and yeah, guess what? It's spyware. They're tracking everybody. They're tracking data. They're sending it back to private servers. They're sending it back to Unity HQ. They're doing all that stuff. And guess what they haven't talked about since then? Well, they're still going ahead with the whole install fee thing. So guess what? They're still doing the tracking. They're still doing the spyware. They're still doing all this shit. And they're not going to stop. They don't care. They don't care about you. All they care about is that money. And, well, they cared a little too much. And now I don't care. So I'm gone. We're going with Unreal. And if I don't like what's in the engine, I'll compile my own damn version of it. Yeah. Spyware, after they bought the spyware company, yeah, they merged with the spyware company. If people didn't catch that one, I forget what the name of the company was. They merged with a notorious spyware company. Kind of weird that they did that about a year before doing this whole install thing. So, kind of almost seems like they were building up the spyware because they were planning to pull this stunt. Maybe... kind of all connected there a little, just... Yeah, no. So, again, fuck Unity. Don't use it. That's it. Just don't. IDR, what is that? What does that stand for? IDR. If Unreal allows you to compile the game without telemetry stuff, but near every UE game that came across owns a little extra light application. Oh, I don't recall. No, you can download the Unreal source code right now, modify it, and compile your own. Like, that's it. You can just do it. It's in, you just do it. You want to change anything about it, you just do it. Just download it. It's right on their website or under GitHub or whatever. You could go right now, download it, and compile it yourself, and change anything you want about it, and you have the license to do that. Now you can't sell that modified version. You can't say, "Oh, I made Unreal Special Edition" and sell that. You can't do that, but you can definitely use it for your own games if you sell under the license. Yeah. Trust and consume product. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Consume product, ask no questions, and get excited for next product. Yeah. No, we're not doing that. The telemetry, by the way, doesn't always have to be nefarious. A lot of times the developers will use that to get some information about the game. Like people playing, like stats, how far do people get in levels? Do they get stuck? How long does it take to complete a level? And they can use that information to kind of like patch the game, say, oh, people get stuck, that the game crashes when this thing happens, or whatever. They can get that info and they can use that to help create patches and stuff. So it's not always bad when there's telemetry stuff. They can be used for evil, but you can also use it for good things too. So it's not an issue of whether or not it's in there. It depends on what it's being used for and whether or not the developer has control of that, or if Unreal does, and or in this case of Unity, was doing all that behind everybody's back. The developer didn't have the option to turn that off. It was just there. It was just tracking all the time. Tracking installs, tracking whatever, God knows what they were doing, because they won't tell you. It's proprietary, so we just have to guess. We just have to assume it's the worst case scenario, and that they're just tracking spyware on everybody. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Oh, my wife. I heard meowing and went looking for the kittens. They'd all managed to climb up the plush pink chair in the dining room. Oh, that's funny. And huddle up together, hiding from Ernie. Oh yeah, Ernie. We gave the we got the cheapest discount robo vacuum that we could possibly find, and we lovingly named it Ernie. Oh, they don't like him. I didn't think so. This is the first time we ran it since the kittens were here. Yeah, discount Roomba. It's not a real Roomba. It's a Roomba in the way that people call all tissues Kleenex. I'm really looking forward to your fan game. Glad it's 16-bit, not 8-bit. You don't know how many people have said that, and I appreciate that. It's going to be a while before we can get anything playable publicly, but hang in there. We'll get there. We'll get there. I appreciate the support there. Poor Ernie. Yeah, I bet they're terrified of that thing. The other cats were terrified of it too when we first got it, but now they try to fight it. Especially Orangey. He'll just like stand in its way and start smacking it when it gets close. And then because it thinks it's a wall, because he's hitting the sensors that bump into the wall, and then it starts turning around, and he'll get in front of it and hit it again, and it'll turn around. And it's like, come on, just let it go. Yeah, Orange Cat, always. Yeah. So he's the only one that's brave enough to actually fight it, which is very funny because he's usually very cowardly. I wish he would let it alone so that like it could do its job. That would be nice. But Orange Cat's gonna Orange Cat. You know, it is what it is. Alright, so I was kind of in the middle of explaining about this whole events thing. So basically an event, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a broadcast. Different parts of the game can sign up to get a notification when something happens, when an enemy explodes, or when an animation ends, or could be anything. You could use events to broadcast anything. When screen shake starts and ends, when an enemy shakes the level, that can notify the screen shake to say, okay, do the shake thing. And it could notify Mega Man to fall down on his butt and be stunned, and it can do all sorts of things. The problem is that in order to do that event, you have to have a reference to whatever's doing it. So you would say, okay, well, we have to find the boss object, subscribe to the boss object's level shake event or whatever, and then everybody listens to that, or make a special object that has the level shake event or whatever, and that's a pain. We don't want to go through all that trouble. So when I was using Unity, I said, you know what, let's just make a system that you can make like an asset that's an event. And what I mean by that is just like, well, here's my test one. Let's see, what did we work on recently? The time thing, right? The time system. Right here. So this is an asset. This action time is a data asset. It just got some information about the time hierarchy, its place in the time hierarchy, and some starting information for when the game starts. It's parented to global time, etc., etc. So I said, well, why don't we just do this, but with events, right? So you would just have an event file, basically, and then anything that wants to access it will just, you reference this. 100 objects, 1,000 objects could reference this one thing, and they could just sign up automatically and not have to worry about finding the boss object, signing into that. Maybe there's all the different bosses are different. Maybe some have certain events here and there, and it gets to be a huge pain to manage all that. So I say, let's make it easy on ourselves. Make it a shared event system. And again, I did this in Unity and it worked out really well. So I want to do it in Unreal. And let's get dry. And I was smart enough to keep the lip balm up here. So we'll use that. And that should help that, as they're already drying out. So it should make development a lot easier to do this with this shared system. So I want to try to build that. I've been thinking about what I really need to do, but honestly, Unreal and Unity do not work the same way, especially not for things like this. So what I wanted to do is just make a prototype of this and kind of explore it in real time here. And then I can use that kind of the same way we made a prototype of the game. And now we're going to make an official version of it, you know, based on a prototype. So let's just do a prototype one here and see how it works. And then maybe it'll work so well that I can just use it. And if it doesn't, then it's a learning experience. And then now you can learn too. You're learning with me. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do today. That was the next task on my docket here. So I think what we're gonna do is just explicitly make one. So I did have like this base class and stuff, but I don't think I'm gonna use that, at least not right now. So this is gonna turn into primary data asset. I do have a plus version that I made, and I don't know, what does that offer? An on-init, on-unload. We might need that. Maybe? I'm not sure. Well, if we don't need it, we don't need it. And if we do need it, then we can just put it in later. So the on-init and the on-unload, here's the best way to explain it. When I hit this green button and everything in here starts up and the game starts up and all that stuff, there was no signal in the game for like things that were already loaded. Like here, let me make it a little more obvious. I have this time controller. Because I opened it here in the editor, it's loaded. It's loaded. It will never unload for a while. I think even if I close it, it won't unload. And then when I hit the green button here, this would never go through the loading signal. It would not get a signal that it loaded because it's already loaded. Why would it run the signal twice? That's kind of not great because I need to know, You know, like, and get an idea of like when runtime starts up, I need to know what that behavior is going to be. And I might need to do special instructions at that point in time. And so that's why I made that plus version. It actually, where is it? It actually has that stuff. I mean, I had to build it to do that. It didn't come free. But here, like it hooks into the events. This is basically the PIE. I think that's preview and editor. And that's this green button. Well, it was not there's now it's green because I stopped it. That green button, that's what this is. That's what this is for. So there's an event for begin and end, and so I call this on init every time that this begins or the game starts from the beginning. You know, like in a build, and that way I can kind of do special instructions every time that the game starts, and it makes things a little more consistent, which is nice. But that's why I use the plus version that I made. If I don't need that functionality, then there's no reason to bother with it. So for now, we don't need it, but maybe we will in the future. So I'm going to close Time Controller. I'm going to keep this one open. Close that one, and we need this one. So there's a few things we've got to do. Well, let's see. How do we want to plan this? Well, here's the functions of it. We need anybody who has access to this to be able to sign up to an event. Actually, that's not strictly true. Anybody who has access to it can fire the event. So anybody who has the screen shake event or whatever will be able to call it. Say, yeah, fire that screen shake event or whatever it happens to be. And then anybody listening on that event gets that phone call, so to speak, be like, hey, yo, the screen shake event just happened. You know, do your thing, whatever you wanted to use it for. And then everybody subscribed to it will get that call. And so we're going to have to keep track of that somehow. We'll probably just use one of Unreal's built-in events. Oh, actually, I got a hot tip for you all. I didn't know this, and I had to go and change all of my events here. But let me find, where is it now? What is one that has it? Time Controller probably does, right? Let me see. Where did I make an event? Right here, right? Yeah. Okay, when I was looking through the engine code, again, because it's open source and you can just download it and look at it, which is really nice. They were doing, so here we got this declared dynamic multicast delegate. A lot of times what they were using in their component code was a multicast sparse delegate. One of these. Which has more parameters, so there's going to be an error here. But so I found out the difference. I was just kind of copying what they did in their example. Apparently there's a big difference. The sparse delegate is it's slower because it tries to be memory efficient, but I feel like there's no reason to bother with that ever. The idea is that, oh, well, there's a certain minimum memory that needs to be allocated to an event. And if it's an event that doesn't get used all too much, then you can use the sparse one to cut down on memory usage. But right now, all consoles and PCs have unlimited super 4 million gigabytes of memory. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but at the point that you have like 4 or 8 gigs of memory on your console, you really don't have to worry about the amount of memory that an event's going to take up. So don't use those, I guess. I talked to a couple people about them, and they like, yeah, we never use sparse ever, because It's slower, and there seems to be no meaningful benefit to it. So maybe it's something that was better back in the day when consoles were just kind of not that powerful, or memory was more of a concern. But now everybody's got so many gigs of RAM, don't worry about it. So I went back and I changed all my sparse delegates back to just regular delegates. Delegates. I would encourage you to do the same. Don't use the sparse multicast. You just use normal multicast. And apparently they're quicker than the sparse ones. So there's that memory trade-off, which again, everybody's got tons of memory, so don't worry about it. So there's your hot tip. I learned that yesterday, and I changed over all my events to this. The good news is it didn't seem to screw anything up. So everything seems to function just by removing the sparse part out. So that's good. And yeah, delegates can be quite delicate, yeah. At least in this one, yeah, I just took the sparse out of the name and removed the extra parameters, and everything seemed to be all right. Oh, and one more thing. You can define them within a class, and I encourage you to do that, because if you define them outside the class here, that name is taken forever. So if you have something else, like if you say not time, I think that's actually why I put the time in there, because I did it on pause, and it was actually something else somewhere else that was like, no, this already exists. You already have an on pause. And I'm like, oh. So I changed it to on time pause, but I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous. I shouldn't have to do that. And then that's when I discovered, oh yeah, you can just put them in the class and then you're fine. So if you want to subscribe to it, then you just reference the class and then reference the event type. And then here they are at the bottom, implemented. So if we find usages, and whenever I check them, I don't know if you actually have to check if they're bound or not. I saw it in some of Unreal's engine code, so I figure I might as well do it. But I've seen people just not do that, so I don't know if this checks if it's bound or not. Can we go to the definition on that? No. It's making a definition with this macro, so I'm not sure what it's really referencing here. I don't know if we can. If we go to the definition, how do we go to the definition? Navigate to declaration? No, it's right here. Navigate to. Excuse me. Switch your header source, maybe? No. I don't know. Somewhere this is defined, but I'm not sure how to actually trace back to the original macro code. That's what these are called, macros. I don't know. No, that's just right here. Implementations? Nope, apparently not. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere in the code this exists as a... Actually, you know what? Let's try this. It's probably a define, right? Here they are. Oh, it's one of these things. Okay, then you'd have to find this one. Yeah, let's keep this on the screen here. And here, this is how it constructs it. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know it actually forced the public here. But it scopes it, so I guess it doesn't affect the rest of your code. And it creates a dynamic multicast delegate. Oh, that's the class name. I don't know. Oh, I just realized I didn't put the randomizer on. That's fine. For the music. Here's broadcast, exec function. I don't know, it does something here. I think what this means is that the code is defined elsewhere. So I don't know. I'm not really sure if it checks if it's loaded or not before it goes. Because I think if there was no check to see if it was bound, I think it might crash if it tries to run that event. I don't know. Well, whatever. I don't know. I've seen in examples people doing the is bound, so we're just going to continue to do the is bound. Duh, I don't know what's going on with me here. Stop it. Anyway, that's my tip. Do the is bound. You know, if it's found out later that we don't have to use it, it's probably not doing much to hurt it. So, yeah, anyway. We need to have some sort of delegate. The point is, I'm trying to get at, is that we want to make one of these in the shared event here. So, on event triggered, I guess, it's got to be kind of a generic name. And then I think what I'm going to do here is rename this. We'll just say shared event. I don't know. Should we shared event test? I'll say test. Just to make it very clear that this is not production code. So there, okay. Get this here. Alright, we don't have any code here, and that's fine, but we don't have anything here yet. So then we want to uProperty on event. Oh, wait, no, that doesn't go there. Hold on. On event triggered, and that's how we implement it. Now, we don't want this to be public because we don't want anybody who has a reference to this to just be able to sign up for it, because they may not properly manage that. We're going to create a component that goes along with this that will properly manage it. So this is going to be under the protected group, and I'll show you how we're going to bypass that. In fact, let's make that class right now. Make a new class. Oh, it's over here. Went to the wrong window. What's this going to be? It's going to be component, right? So, actor component? Yeah. And we will call it shared event listener. Did we spell that right? Did we capitalize that right? It kind of looks like it. Listener, I guess. Okay. Whatever, we're naming it. If it's bad, it's fine. And this is the only thing that's going to have access to listening in on these things, because it's going to automatically subscribe you and unsubscribe you from that callback. When you basically you'll feed it the asset file and say, hey, I want you to listen to this. And we'll say, oh, okay. Oh, it already put in some code for me. All right. It's handy. I think Unreal is the one that created this code. So it has like here, can ever tick? No, we're not doing that. We don't need the tick. We do want it to auto-activate though, so is that no? Set auto-activate? Or be auto-activate? Whether the component is activated at creation, it must be explicitly activated. Set auto-activate sets whether the component should auto-activate or not. Only safe during construction. Hey, that's exactly where we are. Yeah, we're gonna say true. That's the behavior that we want. We want to not, because if you don't do that, then you have to, every time that you add it to an actor, you have to go in and specifically check it, auto activate. We don't want to make more work for ourselves. We don't want to forget or do anything. Who's pinging me? Oh, Chloe's got some concept art. Ooh. Here. Yeah. We got some fresh concept art. Hold on. Put the brakes on. Koi just sent this to me. I guess it's this. I guess this is his kind of like read on the graphics from the original. That's pretty cool, actually. It actually looks really cool. I like his interpretation of the 4. It's actually definitely not what I thought it would have been, but it's actually really cool. But this is basically the first step for the concept art. I think this was his earlier draft. He put no on here, so I'm assuming he means that not to do with it. Yeah, freshly cooked. Yeah. Yeah, here he doodled all the Game Boy graphics. He's trying to figure out what the hell they're for. Yeah, elements. Yeah. This is basically what we need to do. Oh yeah, he's doing the cylinder here too on the side. Let's see. I'm just telling him thanks for sharing it. Yeah, this is basically what I told him to do. For phase 1, we need a vibe check, basically. You know, just draw what you think it should look like. What should this space look like? And that's exactly what he did. I don't know why. Discord started flipping out for a second. Yeah, and then we discussed that one part of the level here, that this little drop down is probably like a giant trash chute, and then it goes to like maybe like a grinder or something at the bottom. I think that's what he did here. And so this doesn't look like anything from the original game, and that's exactly what I instructed him to do. You have to add stuff, you have to add more detail, you have to get an idea of what the hell this place is, and then we have to expand on all that stuff. This is a great first step. It's a great first step because I can just see it. I can just see, yeah, this is pretty much what it looks like, isn't it? And he added like the little hanging things for these grates, which is kind of cool. That's new. You got some straight pipes along with the, I don't know, the ribbed pipes? I don't know what you would call them. I guess they're flexible pipes, right? But the straight pipes wouldn't be flexible. Yeah, that's cool. And this is what I was saying before. This is kind of the first step on the concept art phase. Oh yeah, the PlayStation version of Tunnel Rhino's theme, it does sound funkier, yeah. I like the PlayStation version of the X3 soundtrack. For the most part, there's some tracks are a little strange. And I think, for the most part, I do like it a lot. But yeah, this is definitely, I think, the trash chute thing that we were discussing. So, because we were thinking about making it like a cylindrical broom, so you could see in the background how that works. That's gonna be cool. But yeah, again, this is the sort of the first 90s video game commercial vibe in that viewing angle. Yeah, right? We were referencing some of the Capcom art. So a lot of the stage concept art for the actual like NES games and stuff looked like this. Like they had this kind of angle. So I said, yeah, let's go with that. You know, it worked for Capcom and it can work for us. And I think giving this angle really helps you visualize what this place really looks like as an actual, like, real place and not just, you know, an imaginary location. you can like really see, oh, there's, you know, you have to think about the depth a little bit. You can think about the parallax layers, like, oh, this thing is a ventilation system maybe. And you know, okay, it's a little far back from here, but it's not too far back. And the far back is back here, and you know, it gives you an idea of how to plan these things. But this is a great first step, you know, towards that. And then we'll have to kind of go back and forth and say, okay, now that we have this, what if we make a more detailed version of this? What would that look like? What if we made it bigger? What if we made it smaller? What about the pipes? Should we have big pipes and little pipes, or just all pipes the same? Or, you know, and then go through that process. And here's the little spikes at the bottom. It's funny, I like it. But yeah, again, this is just the first step to get kind of a vibe check. What do we want to do with this place? What's it going to look like? You know, and then we can go and then plan the actual room to room. Okay, this is what each one's going to look like. We're going to use this. All these cylinders are going to be in this part of the stage, and then we're going to use more pipes in this part of the stage, and we're going to use these little computer things in this other part of the stage, and maybe we'll use grates in, you know, sections A, C, and F, and that's kind of the next. Well, that's 2 steps ahead, I guess. The next immediate step is to say, okay, this looks kind of cool. Now we have to figure out, you know, make it a little fancier. Get like, you know, draw this again, but we'll draw it with more detail, and you know, try checking out variations and stuff. But yeah, so again, a good first step. Okay, just making sure you didn't have any questions for me. All right, back to our shared event system. We want to not have it tick because there's no reason for it to tick. And again, tick is just the update that happens every frame. But there's literally nothing that I can think of to bother with. And yeah, you can read the little description here. I usually just get rid of this because I already know what it means. And we're definitely going to need something on begin play. And here we don't need tick at all, so we're just going to get rid of that here. Okay. Hey G-Man, what's up? Just coy. I don't know if surprise is the word, but he goes like, "What? You just shared it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's right there." Yeah, it's Zero's theme from Mega Man Zero 1. It's the arranged soundtrack version. I like that one. That was cool. That was really one of the only throwback tracks that they ever did in the Zero series. Might be the only one that I could think of. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the little additions they gave to it. Okay, we'll get rid of this, get rid of this. So this is the shared event listener, and so this is going to subscribe you to the shared events that you feed it. And you should be able to do multiple of these. So let's make a little array, right? Make it a U property. We're going to say edit anywhere so that we can edit it, because it is protected. We want to be able to edit it, you know, in the, could I have like a starter set? Actually, no. You know what? We're going to do that separate. We'll have U property blueprint read write. No, not read only, read write. And then edit anywhere. That basically exposes it to the editor. In this one, T array, U shared event test. I think a pointer. We want a pointer. And this will be subscribe on begin. Subscribe. I actually spelled that right. Subscribe. It looks so wrong to me. This looks like it's misspelled to me. Sub, S-U-B, scribe. Yeah, subscribe on begin. Man, I don't know. Sometimes I really think I got like dyslexia or something. Anyway, the point of this is we can subscribe to this when it starts, and that way we can keep the actual the runtime list of stuff pure, and we don't have to worry about the data getting mixed. So runtime subscription list. And this one will be transient, and what that means is that we do not want to save this data. Oh, and then, what is it called? Follow, like, and subscribe. Subscribe. Yeah, please subscribe. I probably should do that, right? That's the thing to do. Be like, hey guys, like the stream. I don't even know if you can like it on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, like the stream. And subscribe, please. Please subscribe to whatever. Follow whatever they call it on all the platforms. Let's see. There's a property flag in here that basically lets you look at the instance. Maybe that's it. Instance. Is that the word I'm looking for? Instance. Edit. Visible instance only. And that'll make it like a read-only property, I think. Indicates that the property is only visible in a property window for instances, not for archetypes. I don't know the difference. I don't know what that means. And cannot be edited. Well, that's what we want. We don't want it to be edited. This specifier is incompatible with any of the edit ones. Okay. It'll be a pain. It'll be a pain if we allow this to be edited through the editor at runtime. So I'm gonna lock it down. You probably could set it up to be, like, set up a list of what was there and a copy list of what is there right now, and then compare them when something changes, but I'm not gonna do that. Hey, Screaming Red Skull, howdy, welcome. So I'm just gonna make it so you just can't edit the runtime list. We can configure the subscribe on begin, and that's where we're gonna put our shared event. So, like when we configure the object, the actor, rather. It could just be an object too, but I don't know. I don't think objects can have components. I don't know. I honestly, I mostly deal with the actors. I don't think I've ever actually made just a standard U object, but whatever, it is what it is. So we're going to put our test file in here, and then when it begins, it's going to register it here. And we want also, I'm thinking of C#. I'm like, oh, public, void. No, we don't need public. Actually, we can't do it that way. You have to do them in batches. So void subscribe to event, and then we want a U shared event test pointer, and we'll call it event. And we'll capitalize that correctly. And then we'll have an unsubscribe to from event. English. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I made an inline definition. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to offload it. What is this? Call to a virtual function set to constructor is resolved at yeah, okay, that's fine. It told us to do this during the constructor, so I think during construction scripts. Yeah, I don't know. This is a constructor, but I don't know if they consider this a construction script. Whatever, it's fine. If it blows up, it blows up. We'll find out soon enough. Okay. If it is not valid, then if the event is not valid, then we want to return. We don't want to do anything, and we also want to throw an error to let our dumbasses know that something went wrong. So, log macros, they're there. I made some macros to make this so much easier. So we can say editor slog screen log is referencing this object, and text say subscribe to event failed, provided event was invalid, and we'll give that a nice red color, linear color, and make it red because it's an error. It's bad news. Bad news is always red. And then the duration. We'll give it 15 seconds. Seems pretty alright. Speaking of blowing up, guess who didn't install the fan lamp controller box properly in my house and made it pop and burn out? Well, now you know, I guess. Now you know. Okay, we're gonna have to do a couple things here, but we can't do them quite 100% yet. And here's what I was saying, that we're gonna make this protected, right? So that nobody can screw with it, but I'll show you how to circumvent that. Now, this is only something that can happen in C++, from what I understand, which is part of the reason that I go very hard on using C++ in Unreal. And as much as I love Blueprints, at this current time, I cannot recommend you to just do everything in Blueprints. There are some limitations that makes your coding architecture very unsafe. We'll put it that way. Most of the time you have to expose a lot of your functions that really only certain things should have access to, but you can't restrict them. At least at a granular level. It's just either everybody gets to it or everybody doesn't get to it. And that can be very bad, because if you have someone else working with you, another programmer, and they don't know exactly how to use your system, and they just see that, oh, there's a register function, I'm going to use the register function, and it's actually supposed to be used by something specifically and not being used manually by just any old script, and now all of a sudden everything blows up. And it's not being used correctly. You can actually limit things with C++, and I'll show you how that works here. But first, I want to just get the instruction here to get the runtime list populated. So, add event. There's two things we want to do. Is it just an add unique? Is there an add unique? Add unique. Does that give us any idea or any feedback? It gives us a size swipe. Okay, for the purposes of debugging, I'm going to do... hold on. I made another thing for runtime. Actually, you know what? No, I will need this. Runtime detection? Yeah. I will need to do the runtime detection here as well, but I don't actually need it to do this. What I want to do is I want to check to see if this list already contains what we're trying to add to it. Now, Unreal will automatically do that if you do add unique. It will only add it if it's not already in there. However, I want to throw an error, or a warning at least, when you attempt to do that, just for debugging purposes. So, if with editor and endif and endif, that way we can just, because this is extra work, we could batch it into one where add unique will check it and then only add it if it's there. But I need to know explicitly a yes or no answer. Is it already added so that I can throw the warning? Well, it's going to check twice if I do it here. If I check to see if it's there, and then add unique is going to check it again. We want to just let add unique do its thing. So this is only if we're in the editor are we going to do double the work, basically. So if this runtime subscription list contains event already added, don't add, we return, and then we'll do the editor slog. Basically like we did here, but we're going to make it a warning instead. So provided event was already registered, and we'll make it yellow because it's not really a warning, it's just kind of a hey, by the way. But again, this already happens inside here somewhere. Yeah, it's already trying to find that thing on its own. And I'm assuming that's kind of what this does. It actually goes through a different process, which is interesting. So we're gonna let the add unique do its thing. It's probably more optimized than checking this first anyway. So already added, don't add, and then return. But again, this is we only need to have this error message or warning or whatever when we're in the editor. So this with editor just says only if we're compiling in the editor do these instructions get included, and otherwise they don't. So, and then we're going to do exactly the same with down here from the unsubscribe failed, provided event was invalid. That's fine. Here I don't even know if we need this, so we can do a remove, which I think actually gives us a bool. No, it doesn't. That's kind of a pain. In C#, removing from a list would give you a true or false to say, was it actually included? Did you actually remove it, or did it just kind of fail out because it wasn't even in there? Well, we'll do the opposite. If it does not contain, was not added to begin with. Provided event was not registered. And could therefore not be removed. There. We'll put that on its own line because it's kind of got long there. So yeah, I mean, it's not an error, it's just a warning of like, hey, by the way, you didn't do that. And we may even want, this one could get annoying, especially if it's like initializing stuff at the beginning or references aren't quite ready yet. So, who knows if that's actually going to be necessary going forward. I don't have to put the semicolons on here, but it makes me feel better, by the way. That's why I'm doing that. It makes me feel better, and you know, sometimes that's good enough excuse. But yeah, I just want this for now for debugging purposes, but I'll probably end up removing that error, because it'll probably get annoying. Yeah, and so that's the basic thing here. And okay, here's the thing I promised I'd show you. First, let me get rid of all that. So the shared event tests, this is protected. I can't access it. If I try to, oh wait, hold on. So event, you know, I say, oh, I wanna do something. I want to broadcast, whatever. Here we go. It tells you, nope, that's protected, buddy. You do not get to play with that. Okay, so how do we get by that? From what I understand, again, Will Prince does not have this ability. You cannot pick and choose who gets to do the stuff here. So we're going to include... Oh, we already included the shared thing. So what we can say is we can say friend. Yay, we're making friends. This is a friend of this class. And friends share secrets. So they're going to share. Now look, we'll be able to, well, maybe. Oh, you know what? I got to do it on the other end. Oh, it's just like the Nintendo consoles. You both have to send a friend request in order to get it. So I don't want to include it because that will create a infinite loop in the compiling. But we can just say, hey, this is a thing that's a class. It exists somewhere. Trust us, bro. And then, you know, it actually does have to exist. But here, so he sends his friend request. Oh, I pasted place. He sends his friend request over to here. So shared event test is friends with shared event listener. And shared event listener agrees that shared event test is a friend of shared event listener. Now, hey, look at that. We got access. We're in. We're sharing secrets. And that is how you keep other people from accessing stuff that they're not supposed to. So if another programmer comes in here, or myself 6 months later, tries to, from some other class, from some other part of the code, tries to go in here and start adding and removing stuff, I won't be able to. It's designed to come through the shared event listener. You add the event with this function, it goes in and it subscribes you for you, and otherwise, you don't. So we want to add unique here. Now we want to actually subscribe to it. Friends don't let friends snitch code. Yeah. Let's see. I think I have to do a this. Yeah, and then I have to send the delegate, which needs to be a function here. It has to be a U function for some reason. And it will be void receive. I don't even know if that's how I'm supposed to spell it. I always get that wrong. The I and the E. The I before E except after C. Is that the rule? Then it's that, I guess. Now we'll Google it in a minute. Receive. On event triggered, I guess. And we're gonna make. No, that's fine. Can we make a virtual? Only if we need to. Let's just, for now, let's just say that it is what it is. No, we will need to actually have a definition here. So let's actually do a real definition. Because we're gonna want our own event to broadcast out to the actor. So let's actually do that then too. I guess this should be public. U property blueprint read write, I guess. And then here we want to if, here's where the if bound, then broadcast, and that's going to send the message out to the actor or anyone else that's listening. Okay. So that this is what gets called now that we have this function. I think you have to do the ampersand and this. Is it happy or not? Do I put the parentheses? Oh, it doesn't accept two arguments. Wait, so do I only need this then? It doesn't like that either. No viable function? Is it this? We have to put the... No? Yes? No? Yes? Alright, hold on. Let's see, what did I do other places? Check project, only in our project. Receive on event trigger. Yeah, oh. That's this one. Wait, hold on. Where are we? What is this then? Oh, no, that's not an event though. I do find using. Where have I used this before? Hold on. Okay, on time controller. How do we do it on time controller then? Someone has to be subscribing to this, right? Who's subscribing to it? And how are they doing it? Oh yeah, so time controller. Oh, sorry. It's add dynamic, not add unique. That's my problem. Add dynamic. And I'm pretty sure that one requires this. And that, is it good? They happy? Looks like it's happy. Okay. And now here, when we remove it, we want to remove dynamic, which... Yeah, I guess it's just that. Is that what we did here? Oh yeah, that's the remove. Yeah, it's the same thing. Now this one has the ampersand. Do I need an ampersand? Well, the other ones do it. I suppose we should do it. That usually means like get address of this. Well, I'm doing it everywhere else and it seems to work, so I guess use the ampersand. I know that's a horrible justification, but I suppose if it works, we don't want to not do it, right? So, okay. Now, we got it removing. So here, if it actually exists, then we want to remove it. That's actually a good use case to actually keep this, because if it doesn't contain it, we don't want to try to remove anything. I don't know if that'll cause a crash or not. Is remove? What does remove give you? Size type. Okay. Okay. I guess this actually is not just an editor function then. We do need to check to see if we actually have the event before we decide to release it. Because otherwise this could get weird. I don't know if it'll crash, but it's not something we should be doing if we don't have the actual event in our system here registered. So, okay. Alright, so now what we're gonna do, if you remember, we added this, subscribe, subscribble on begin. Now we actually have to do that. So for each, we want an auto address of, we're not making a copy, called event in, oh, well I copied the wrong thing. Here. So the first thing we want to do If the event is not valid, continue to look through the list. If it is valid, then subscribe to event. And that's all this is going to do. And I think at the end we want to dump this, so we want to empty, which I don't, whoop. So I make sure that this is not asking if it's empty, but it actually empties it. Yeah, empties the array. Okay, that's what we want. There's probably an is empty then too, right? Is empty? Yeah, there is an is empty. I was just making sure it wasn't that. Depending on who you ask, it could be named that. So, yeah, we load all the stuff. Oh yeah, we're gonna make it const too, right? Will that screw up the... Will that make this mad? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, cool. So we want to get the event pointer. Check if the object is even valid, because it could be blank. You could add a space for it in the array and it just be completely blank. If it is, we don't want to do anything with it. And then if it actually means something, then we go here to subscribble. You know, it is actually kind of double work though, because this is already going to check to see if it is valid. So yeah, honestly, we don't really need that then. We can get rid of all that, because it's going to come in here and then it's going to check if it's valid anyway. And this one's actually going to give you the error message, so let's offload that responsibility to that. And so if it is valid and it isn't already in our runtime list, then we actually subscribe to it and add it to our runtime list. Yeah. Okay, now we need the opposite. We need the opposite, and that is virtual end play? Yeah, end play. I don't know if I should call this before or after. I don't know. Well, it might not make a difference. We're going to do basically the same thing, just in reverse. Instead of our subscribe on begin, we want our runtime subscription list. And then we want to unsubscribe from event. However, this could be a problem. Because we are removing things as we're going through the loop. This might not be ideal. Might not be ideal. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a special function for this. And we're gonna call it... You know what? We can make this something that the user has access to. So ufunction blueprint callable. That should not be a pure though. The pure function would be something that doesn't have to have the flow of control. In other words, this is a pure function. Check if ceiling is above head. And this is a not pure function. It actually has to be explicitly done through the flow of control, which is this white line. But a pure function can kind of be off of that. It can kind of do its own thing. But we don't want these to be pure. And nor do we want this one to be pure, because it's going to be unsubscribed from all. So what we're going to do here, instead of calling the unsubscribe event, I guess we'll check if it's valid. It should be valid, but if for whatever reason it's not, then we'll skip it. And we're going to unsubscribe from it. Um, so on event triggered, remove unique or dynamic. Remove dynamic. I keep getting that mixed up. This, and this, and we will copy that from here. Oh, not a dollar sign. Ampersand. What's wrong? Could not resolve. Did I spell it wrong? Remove dynamic. I guess so. Okay. We remove all of it, and then at the end, all we have to do is empty. So the reason we want to do this is we do not want to be removing and adding. Well, we wouldn't be adding, but we don't want to be removing stuff from here while this for loop is going. But it's supposed to be for each, right? Or does it just get turned into a for loop? Oh yeah, looks like it. Okay, that's fine. When we're doing this for loop, we do not want to be removing things from here because that changes the size of this list, and now it might throw the whole loop off. So without removing anything, without changing the list, we'll just go through all of them. Excuse me, unregister all of them. We already know that it's registered because it's in our runtime list. So we can safely just unregister without checking. And then at the end, just dump the list. That's the safe way to do that. Now, when we end the play, we'll just unsubscribe from all. And that's it. Nice and clean. How about that? Okay. That might be all we need from the listener, at least right now. So the listener sits in the actor. And yeah. And then when it gets a call from whatever has been subscribed to it, then it will say, hey, by the way, here, look at this. Yeah, so when we receive the event, we do fire the event. We are registering and removing, unregistering the receive event on event triggered. Okay, all that looks good for now. We'll have other options, like, can still fire when it's inactive or when, say, like the actor is despawned or whatever. We'll add all those features later, but right now we just need a proof of concept that this actually works. So the public, we should have, this is now in the event itself, in the event asset. Fire event. What was it? On event triggered. Again, check if I assume it's necessary. Check if it's bound. Broadcast. That might be it, because all the code here, all the code for registering and deregistering, one, it's protected, and two, it's in this listener. So it kind of keeps everything safe and kind of a little bit idiot-proof. Well, let's try to compile it. Let's see, any errors? Did I screw it up? No, apparently not. How about that? First try. What do we want to do? Let's do something silly, like if you press L1, everything explodes. That seems like a that seems like a good test, a good, sensible, normal thing to do. We'll just make all the enemies explode if we press L1. Yeah, let's do that. So go to actors. Enemies? Should be like an enemy base class here, right? Yeah, alright. Add listener. Shared event listener. Yeah. On explode listener. Okay, so here, there should be a thing here. But I don't see it. How come I don't see it? You know what? I think I know why. I think I have to make this blueprint assignable. Not blueprint read write. Maybe both? But I think it needs to be blueprint assignable. Yeah, there it is. There it is. See it? On event triggered is now there. Okay. We're learning. I'm learning. We're doing it. It's doing. It's going. Now all my windows are messed up. Okay. Unexplode. Yeah, so because we don't have extra features right now built in, I'm gonna have to do some manual checks. So the actor spawn controller, get spawn state? Yeah. How about that? And we'll do a switch. So only if we are spawned. And the health controller. Is health... We want not empty, right? So boolean not. We're gonna negate that. Is not empty. Inflict damage with 9,999. There. A very normal, sensible thing to do. Yeah. Sounds good to me. Blow him up. Kill him. Let's see how that works. Close that, we don't need that. Now, Mega Man has to have a reference to this. So right now, the left shoulder button. Am I using the right shoulder button for anything? Here. Let's just copy this. Let's do R1. Alright, when R1 is pressed, then shared event tests. Well, we need to make one if it's not already there. Shared sh. Each shared values, shared events. Okay, I think that's the old one, so. Shared event test. SC for shared event test. Okay. I don't think there's anything to configure. That's okay. Shared event test. Object whoop. Object reference. Sure, we'll make it available. We'll just set it right here to test. And so get If it's valid, because maybe it's blank, then we don't want to do anything. Uh-oh, fire event's not here? Did we not make it available? We did it! Okay. We need to make it a view function. Blueprint callable. It probably shouldn't be pure. I think it requires a little more control than that. Okay, now fire event. There it is, baby. Alright. Okay. Now, oh yeah, the enemy listener. The shared event listener. Remember we had the subscribe on begin? Oh, I don't find anything. And I know why. We're going to save that and close that because this, when you change data like this, sometimes it gets a little weird. So these, instead of just being pointers, these should be object pointers. I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong, but we'll find out. Because I think what that is it means, it tells Unreal that this is going to be an asset that you have to select. Now we're going to compile here and then relaunch the editor. And hope it doesn't explode. Is it good? Oh yeah, okay. Compiled successfully with warnings. There's always warnings. Everything's gonna warn you. This should work, at least basic functionality. And then we're gonna have to start putting a few safety measures in. Because we don't want to, like, you shouldn't be able to add things to the runtime registry. You should be able to subscribe events basically when the game's not running, even though you could technically call that function when the game is not running but still in the editor. Okay. Right, we wanted to go here, add to this. There it is. There we go. Subscribe on begin. That's what we want. Alright, let's give it a shot. Moment of truth, baby. R1. Boom! Yeah, there we go, baby! Boom! Oh, it works. Boom! Get the hell out of here. Boom! 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 I love when shit works. Yeah, eat that. Boom! Yeah! Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Hey, successful test. How about that? He killed the boss before we were even in the room. Cool. All right. Well, that was a success. That was definitely a success. So yeah, if we don't subscribe to anything, it's not going to do anything, and we won't get the event. See, now I can hit it and nothing happens. So that is great. It worked on the first try. How about that? That's going to be so much more useful now. Absolutely. Oh, I actually feel relieved about that. I figure something was going to go wrong, but nope. Worked exactly how I thought it would. So here's the thing. We've got a successful test now, right? We know that it works. It's a proof of concept, whatever. Now it's going to get hard to get, how do I want to put it? To take this from a prototype and make it safe to use and make it really usable and all that, it's got to have other features. We won't be able to just do it like this. So, for example, this subscribe to event, you could technically make all of this happen while the game is not being played. Like when it's an editor here, I could do something really stupid. And, oh, not here, right here. I could do something really stupid and subscribe. Oh wait, is that, hold on, am I the wrong one? Right, I need this. So, subscribe to event, I could call this in the editor through blueprints. And that's a big no-no. We do not want to do that. That would be very bad. So in order to get around that, what I do we'll do it. Do we want to do it before? Might want to do it before. Editor block? Editor time block. Yeah. We're going to return. So this basically says if it's a little macro I made. If we're in runtime, if we're in not runtime, do the code. If we're not in, if we are in, yeah, if we're not in runtime, we're in editor time. So if we're in editor time, aka not runtime, then we do what's here. And runtime is basically, is the game actually running or is it just the editor running? So we also want to do UE log. Let's see. I don't do this very often. I usually use the on-screen. Cannot resolve. Symbol is suppressed. What? Okay. Do a search for UE log. No! No, don't do that. Shift F. No? Is it Control Shift F? Control Shift F. There. Oop, my bad. Okay. Let's check just in our project. Log temp error and then do the thing. Okay. Log temp error and text. And we'll say failed can only be called at runtime. There you go. And it makes me feel better to put that at the end. Okay. Just wanted to have that there for reference. And it would also do this on the unsubscribe. And one more time for the unsubscribe from all. There. And then the, oh, well, updated. This, the subscribe on begin is blueprint read and write and edit anywhere. So that means that both, I shouldn't minimize that. That means both here you can edit the subscribe on begin, but you can also add one here if you want using these functions. So there is functionality to do it through scripting to add the subscribe on begin. So we don't need to make special functions for this. There's no real reason to do that. You can just do this. You know what, also, I should change this from a T array to a, oh, what is it? T set? T set. Not a T set, but a T set. And oh, like last time, we're going to close this before we do a change like that. I'm not worried about losing data because, again, this is still prototype. You definitely wouldn't want to just change this because I think that will destroy all the data. Now, the difference between an array and a set is that a set won't let you put two of the same things in there. So if I tried to add the same one twice, it would just ignore the second one. And that's what we want. We don't want this to have 10 copies of the same file in it, because they're not going to do that. If you try to do that, it's going to try to subscribe it anyway, and it'll just tell you, bro, it's already here. You can't do that. Like, it's already here. What are you doing? It's already registered. So this will help prevent anybody using the system to kind of perhaps to realize that that's the case, but not allow them to add 10 copies of the same damn thing over again, or 100 or 1,000 or whatever. And that would definitely start to cause some lag at that point. So let's open back up our stuff, and we're gonna go back to here, and yeah, it has been erased. So we'll put it back. This one should still be intact. Yes. Just make sure everything's still working. Oh. Boom! Yep. That's it. That's my win button. No, I still fell. Ooh! Get out of here. Ha 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 ha. Oh! Don't think so. I think the boss is always loaded, so the boss just gets completely destroyed the first time I use it. It's very funny. Yeah, okay. Works. Works. How about that? A resounding success. And now, at the very least, we will have some error messages if we try to do something really dumb. Oh, this also needs that. Oh, we need to do that. Because if someone stupidly tries to fire the event when it's not supposed to be. Include my good file, please. We do not want to fire the event if it's an editor. My wife. Hello, I love you. I'm too short to get a cup. Actually, just wait a minute, because 1, it's almost midnight. 2, I'm tired. And 3, we successfully did the thing we were gonna do. So just give me like 5-10 minutes and I'll be offline anyway. Yeah, then I'll come down for the night. So yeah, we'll do that. Let's make sure. Actually, I'm not even sure how to test this. I don't know if I can cause this to actually happen easily. What, can I do it in the construction script? Can I just say... Can I just do it here? We'll get mad at me? I don't know. I guess we'll find out, right? So let's go to the log. Let's clear it. And compile. And I think that actually attempts to do it, right? Yeah, there it is. There it is. Can't fire... Cannot fire at runtime. I actually tried to do it like 6 times. But yeah, so there you go. Can't do it. Don't do it, can't do it, won't do it. So here's the enemy's construction script then, right? So then theoretically we should be able to try to subscribe to event. And likewise, it should also tell us to go eat, you know what. So clear the log, compile, and yep, there it is. Subscribe event failed, can only be called at runtime. Booyah! Did anybody say that anymore, or is that just like boomer shit? Am I revealing my boomer status? Not that you could already couldn't tell. Yay, hugs, kisses, and a cup. And Sticky has been sleeping on my lap for like 3 hours. Sticky is the name we have lovingly given one of the kittens because she had a gunk buildup on her eye. She had an infection. So she had a sticky eye. So I just kept calling her Sticky Eye or Sticky. And it kind of stuck. Yeah, I'm keeping the explodey enemies thing. I can make a clip out of that. Okay, make sure that we have removed all the bad stuff. Okay, good. Yeah, so how about that? How about that? We got a one-touch shared event. Bonk. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Screen clear. It's so much fun to do that. It's a lot of fun to just screw around to test stuff like this. You have no idea. It brings me great joy to create a kill everything button. Oh, it killed the indestructible disc too. Oh, it's just gone. That's hilarious. I didn't even think that thing had health. It's just gone. Well, maybe, let's see. If I cause it to spawn. Oh yeah, no, I can still kill it. It's gone. It's dead. That's funny, because that thing's normally indestructible. That is incredibly funny. Whee! Bonk. 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 Bonk, 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 bonk. Ha ha. Yeah, how about that? And debug. Unlimited power, baby, let's go! Yeah, that's it. I made it. I can do anything I want with it. How about that? My wife says the kitten's real name is Stardew. Sticky is her nickname. Remake Bonk's Adventure next. Bonk's Adventure. That's very funny. Oh, I did the time slow? Apparently I slowed down time. Must have hit the button. Bonk. Yeah, anyway, there you go. So, oh, that's kind of interesting. The conveyor belt stopped working there for a minute. I wonder why. Is it because of the time slow? I wonder if it's actually triggering the minimum movement and canceling it because it thinks that the movement's not substantial enough to bother actually doing something with. I played that all the time as a kid on the TurboGrafx 16 before my idiot brother sold it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's my wife talking. Yeah, her brother got a TurboGrafx back in the day and he sold it like a complete idiot. Yeah, he had a Neo Geo and Fatal Fury, like the home console Neo Geo and Fatal Fury, and he sold them, got rid of them. Yeah, dumbass, exactly. That would have been great to still have around. Man, I've never even really... Well, I've seen a Neo Geo console in person, behind protective glass, at one of the local shops. But I've never played with one. I've never touched a controller or nothing. I mean, I've got a Neo Geo CD replica controller. These are actually really cool, by the way. You can get these on Amazon. They're official. Like SNK licensed Neo Geo CD. They got the clicky stick, like the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear the clicky. These are really cool. If you have tried a Neo Geo Pocket or Neo Geo Pocket Color, you know what I'm talking about. It's got the clicky stick. Maybe you can hear it. Maybe you can't. I can hear it. I always liked this, and I heard that the Neo Geo CD had basically a console-sized version of this clicky stick, and I was like, man, I have to have that. But to get a new Neo Geo CD controller is like $100 plus tax plus import, and then you need a like a handmade adapter to take that and put it on Windows, and it's just like I just never got around to it because, you know, one, money, and two, inconvenience. But then, you know, SNK is like, hey, we're just going to make a replica of it. And I'm like, hell yeah, I got it on a pre-order for this. So it's good. It feels great. It's better than you expected. It's better than I expected. It feels this. You think like, well, it's kind of like an analog or something. No. It's like a mini arcade stick. It feels so good to play games with this. Like you wouldn't even expect. I just played like Mega Man with it, and I'm like, this is actually perfect. This feels great. I love these things. Cannot recommend them enough. So yeah, the only downside is that the receiver that comes with it does not work on everything. So like it doesn't work on the Switch for some reason, which is really strange to me. It also does not work with a controller adapter. So I tried to plug the receiver for this, which I'm not even sure if it's in here or not. I don't see it. That's somewhere on my desk. But the receiver, I plugged it into a controller adapter and then plugged it in a Switch, but it doesn't recognize it. I'm not sure why. If you look up on YouTube, some people have been able to use a different receiver with it that does seem to work, but then now you got to buy like a $30 different receiver for it, which is not cheap. So I don't know. At some point, maybe I'll do it. It's got a Bluetooth mode too, so you don't need the receiver, but that doesn't seem to pair with like anything. So yeah, only 500. Neo Geos are only 500 on eBay. Yeah, only 500. Yeah, it's yeah. Hey, it's Tim. Would it be possible to lower the minimum movement divided by the time slow factor? It would be. Honestly, I would just manually decrease the movement. I would just manually configure it so that the movements just accepts a smaller value. Let's see, platforming movement. Where is custom microsteps? Custom. Use custom maximum microstep force. Maybe there's not. And maybe it's hard coded. The minimum might be hard coded. Let's see. Is the minimum hard coded? Maybe not. Maybe there is no minimum. Well, if there's no minimum, then I'm actually a little perplexed as to. As to why it. Here's the max microstep force. Max microsteps. Yeah, there might not be a minimum. Yeah, I don't know why it's not moving during time slow then. Minimum. Yeah, or the remaining total force. Yeah, there is no minimum. Yeah, I'm actually not sure then. I'm not sure why that would be. But we clearly saw it do that. Okay, there's the slowdown. Yeah, he clearly stops for some reason. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. If I move again, it'll go, but it only goes for so long. I don't know. Submit a bug report. Rounding error? Man, I wouldn't think so. You know what the world needs right now? Keith Courage. Keith Courage. That sounds familiar. Is that a show? TV show? Keith Courage. I don't think it's a floating point thing. It should have enough precision to get that kind of multiplication or division. Keith Courage in Alpha Zones. What is that? Oh no, it's a game. It is a game. On the TurboGrafx, right, because that's what we were talking about. Let's see. Keith Courage. Oh, there it is. Wow, this looks nothing like I expected. There's a dude on the cover, so like some teenager. This is Keith? This is Keith Courage in his Gundam? Is that right? Is some kind of like armor or Gundam? This looks nothing like a Keith. Yep, that's him. Okay. Okay. Incredible. Oh, there he is. There's Keith. He's outside the armor now. Fighting Goemon items here. Mystical ninja items falling from the sky. He gets the power armor. I forget how. Okay. That's funny. Does he get it back? What happened? Where's the armor? What happened? Where is it? Oh, he's just grinding now. Hold on. Wait, what happened? Where did he get the armor? Hold on. Okay. Okay, he is hit by the rainbow, and now he's a Gundam. Okay. Alright. Wow, those are threatening looking spikes right there, aren't they? Like glowing red. Yeah, now he's a Gundam with a beam saber that's like half the screen. Hey, you know, whatever works, right? Maybe that's what all those upgrades were for, huh? Incredible. What a game. What a video game, right? Jeez. I'm gonna split for now, rather tired. Yeah, I'm getting out of here in a minute too, so have a good one. I'll see you later. Yeah. Yeah, I got hit by the pride beam and it gave him a gun to him. Interesting. Well, huh. It's a very confusing game, but it does look kind of interesting at least. Well, anyway. The game is based on Mashinhiro Wataru, and the boy's name is Wataru. Wait, he's not Keith? They lied to me? Are you saying they lied? And it is just like localization back in the 90s. To be like, what's his name? Wataru? Alright, we gotta give this boy an American name. He's Keith now. They lied. Yeah, that's a good point, right? There were all these like little cat charms and stuff, all these Japanese cultural items, and the dude's name is Keith. Yeah, American localization. How about that? Alright, well, I'm gonna get out of here. It's getting late, I'm tired, and we accomplished the thing we wanted to do, so it was all around a good night. So I'm on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and I stream on all of those but Twitter. I guess I could stream on Twitter too? I don't know. Would anybody even care? Would anybody show up? Probably not. I have a Patreon if you want to support me doing the fan games and all the stuff that I do. It goes towards, well, one, paying for this Reach stream service. That's pretty expensive, but, you know, we boost the Discord with it. It helps me eat and stay alive, which is a great thing. I like doing that. That's always fun. Which really help out now because of the whole flood thing. And we're trying to kind of get back on our feet finally. So any amount there will help. If you want to go to Patreon, it's just Mark DWiz on Patreon. And there's rewards. You can get You can get a voice call. You want to yell at me? Be like, hey, here's my game. Look at my game. I'm forcing you to. Because I paid for that too. I'll look at your game. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, that's on Patreon, Mark D Wiz. I'm Mark D Wiz everywhere. Just search the name, you'll find it. Wiz, WYZ. Of course, you probably see it on your screen on text, so you know it is what it is. Yeah, and then I'll be back Wednesday, hopefully on time, if I don't get sick or whatever again. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all the places that I'm here. So, yeah. Yes, and being able to afford internet and toilet paper and Wendy's, yes, that would be great. I like all of those things, you know, essential items for enjoyable living. Yes. So, okay, I'll see you guys later. Thanks everybody for hanging out, and bye-bye.